parachute.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.
Hello. Welcome, everyone, to the Blockchain Dynamics Show.
That is right. Another week, another show. Welcome.
We're brought to you by Error by Trial Radio. It is Sunday, June 25th.
2017, episode number 68.
I'm going by Brandon Doge.
My name's Woody.
Alrighty, so just another fantastic week in the crypto world. We are, as always, brought to y'all by Cryptopia, the website, www.cryptopia.co.nz.
That's right. In case you forgot, they're your one-stop crypto shop.
It's true, man. They've got all kinds of features at Cryptopia. Really great exchange with a lot of fun coins trading there, but a ton of other interesting features, too. You can do some mining there. You can check out the forums.
Yeah, and when you do check out the forums, make sure you swing by the altcoin section. We got a thread stickied at the top there. And that's a great way to get in contact with us and say hi or give us feedback, whatever you want.
Yeah, we've been getting some great comments in the thread, so a huge shout out to everyone who's been posting in the forums thread.
As usual, we love to give away a little DOT. That's Cryptopia's native currency. You can get coins listed over there, interact with the marketplace, different things with DOT. So we're going to give away 15,000 DOT today, and that'll take place in the middle of the show through a trivia question.
That's right. As always, going to do our trivia question in the middle of the show. People love these dots, man. I don't blame them.
Right.
Alrighty, so we're going to jump right into the news.
That's right. We like to start it off with the news.
News.
So one awesomely news-tacular event was the Ethereum Flash Crash on GDAX exchange.
Boom. Ethereum Flash Crash.
Basically, somebody made a big sell, and it triggered a bunch of other people's sells and pushed the price all the way down to, I think, 11 cents.
Yeah, something preposterous. God, can you imagine?
Not really.
Just getting some. That's like a second chance at the Ethereum ICO.
It's way cheaper than that, though.
Well, I thought the ICO was like 15 cents.
Oh, really?
At the time.
So maybe it is just like, that's amazing.
Good Lord. So some interesting ramifications of this. They froze the market after it happened, and I think it kind of looked like they were going to reverse everybody's trades, so they were going to like roll back the whole exchange. But they went in a different direction with it. They honored the trades, so the people who bought the 10-cent ETH apparently get to keep their ETH, their free money, basically. But then a lot of the people whose margin trades were called and whose stop losses fired are going to get reimbursed.
Yeah, and that was kind of all after the news that they were quickly forming their class action lawsuit, which I think a lot of people didn't feel like had a lot of legal ground to stand on. That was my impression. So when Coinbase came out with that decision, it seemed like a huge, nice thing to do.
Yeah, a bit of a surprise. There's a lot of people who think that the trade should stand, and I can totally appreciate that because if you do get into the terms of service and stuff, they realize.
It seems well enough defined to me.
Yeah, exactly. And there's like warnings all over the exchange when you try to place orders.
Yeah, you literally can't press the button without getting the warning.
Yeah, exactly. So in that sense, I don't have sympathy for people. On the other hand, I've placed market stop loss orders before, right? And if I came back and it filled at 10 cents, I would not be thrilled with it.
Yeah.
There's an element of risk management and stuff to that, of just how you can cope with that kind of stuff. And there's also the fact that this kind of stuff, this isn't the first time that there's been, that stops have gotten hunted, or that,
no,
thin books have caused some really weird candles to show up in crypto trading.
Yeah, even on GDAX, I can't remember how low Bitcoin went recently, but it didn't seem like anybody noticed or cared about that.
Yeah, that was weird. They had like a $2 candle on Bitcoin. Maybe that wasn't actual trading, or maybe the circumstances were different, but that didn't cause near.
That was only a couple weeks ago, though.
I think it was a couple months ago.
Couple months at this point, yeah.
It was like I think it was close to the ETF era.
Mm.
So yeah, it's a big old mess. I think that they decided to fix this essentially as a reputation saver. Yeah,
ironed it out.
They just want to keep their positive momentum up. They've been gaining a lot of users, and I think that they're a lot more interested in their market share than they are about the cost of the trades, I guess.
Yeah, well, whether or not the people that felt outed by them stick with it, hopefully at least that gesture alleviates their concern.
And
immediately.
in the meantime,
And
it's
then, yeah.
like a fantastic headline, you know.
That's pretty good. That's
ETH
pretty good
Flash
stuff.
Crash. Everybody heard. This is one of those, like, one of the few things that broke through to like the sphere of people that.
Did
I
you hear
interact
about
with every
that
day.
Ethereum crash?
Yeah, exactly. Yep, totally.
Didn't hear about it.
Yeah, nothing. Never heard of it. Never happened.
All right.
That's the Ethereum Flash Crash on GDEX. Next up in the news this week, just talking a little bit about the scaling consensus agreement. The signaling has started, I guess, for this now.
Some ramping up of signaling.
Something like 80% of the network is already signaling in support of Segwit 2x. I don't know if, I think it's like 70% actually signaling and 80% signaling their intention to do it.
Huh.
And that's the cutoff for this edition. So that will actually be the threshold that's needed to start the activation. But what I don't know is, I don't know if this is people actually, like, maybe it's people just signaling. Is the actual protocol code that would implement Segwit 2x even out yet? I don't think it is. So I'm not sure if this actually means that Segwit's going to activate because of this signaling, or if there's still a different protocol update or something that has to get out there before the signaling will correspond to like anything actually happening.
Huh.
We're still trying to catch up with all of the ramifications of, I guess, what's happening with the Segwit 2x and the new scaling.
Right. Yeah. I'd like to take the time to just know what I'm talking about before I jump into it. Unfortunately, I still just haven't taken the time to catch up on all of it. See, for me with the Bitcoin scaling thing, I'm definitely like watching it interested, but I'm also not really part of it. And
Right.
as far as what happens, I feel really disconnected from that, and almost to the point where I don't care, but it is going to affect me. So I kind of want to care, but I'm going to just react to whatever occurs. So it's almost, I don't have a great plan yet either for any of the situations. So that's what I'd like to kind of explore with you in a segment coming up.
Yeah, there's a lot of interesting questions that get brought up by it, especially because we're mostly alt traders, so we don't usually have like, a huge percentage of our value in Bitcoin at any one time. Like, there's the question of do we
want extra Bitcoins for this?
Yeah, do you want to put everything extra that you can into Bitcoin so that you have, if there is a fork, you have more coins on either side of the fork?
Right.
Or is it going to work out that maybe altcoins, maybe Bitcoin will devalue relative to altcoins because of the instability?
Right. If that happens quickly enough, then maybe it would be better off to be in a particular alt.
Yeah, maybe you just stay in altcoins and you win that way. So there's a lot of fun possibilities to think about with what's going on there, and I'm curious to see what happens. So yeah, Segwit 2x got a ton of support. Another interesting thing about that is that normal Segwit, the original Segwit, also the signaling is increased for that. It's up to like 45%.
You know who really disappeared?
No.
The Bitcoin Unlimited.
Yeah, that crew.
Yeah.
Well, Jihan's still out there.
I don't see a lot of support there at all anymore. There was one week where it felt like they were doing well.
Yeah, they had a moment.
Yeah,
I remember they did have
they had a moment.
it was when their hash first started ramping up. Segwit first started signaling, and everyone thought that it was going to be like cut and dry, or a lot of people did, I guess. And then Segwit kind of stalls at like 40% or 30%, and then all of a sudden Bitcoin Unlimited comes up and just like rushes up to like, up to 40% or whatever, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, it's happening!"
Right.
They didn't quite get there, I guess.
The more well thought out critiques of it kind of came out after that too, I guess.
Yeah, that's true, and that's when all the technical issues started happening too, like the constant node exploits and stuff. I think really damaged their reputation in the wider space. So that is the current state of scaling and Segwit.
Let's see here. Big kind of blockchain Antshares is going for that rebrand.
Antshares. So Antshares is marketed essentially as a Chinese market equivalent of Ethereum. And they have decided to rebrand to Neo.
Okay. Nice word.
Yeah, they did it. They changed the word.
That's cool.
So this marketing's a little interesting to me. They're saying they're rebranding it to Neo, and they're calling it the new smart economy. That's just like so strikingly similar to NEM, which is supposed to be New Economy Movement.
Oh, yeah.
That I feel like I don't really like this change, I guess, because of that. It feels like they're just trying to copy something that's already out there.
Yeah, I guess I don't see it as being incredibly inspired, but oftentimes a rebrand is a pretty big, I don't know, boost for a coin.
Yeah, I think that also they have a problem where Aragon Network Token has the ANT ticker, and so they've got ticker confusion where people are thinking ANT is Antshares.
Maybe that was the main reason for all we know.
Yeah.
That's a good point, dude. I've had that issue myself.
And so I can understand why they would want to do it. And yeah, usually this kind of stuff ends up being all right for the coin in the long term. So I'm sure they'll be fine. But now they're going to have ticker confusion with NEM. Not quite. That's a little easier to distinguish.
What's this, the ANC part of this article here? Did you see that? Where the holders of ANS can now automatically generate ANC in their Antshare wallets, it says.
I don't know what that's about, but they're saying it's used as gas on the platform, so maybe it's just the equivalent of gas to Ether, like in the Ethereum chain. Like it might be unrelated to the... I guess I don't see what it has to do with the
swap
or the swap, yeah,
or the rebranding rather. It's not even.
Yeah, if it's just a rebrand. Interesting. Maybe the name of the gas stays the same, or maybe you transfer all your coins to ANC and then you get the NEO back out somehow or something. I don't know.
Interesting. It does say that the ANS asset symbol will become NEO, so that seems clear on that one.
All right, well, that's what's happening with Antshares. They are rebranding to NEO.
Bittrex is going to delist a couple coins.
A couple more coins are on the chopping block.
They are saying goodbye to 8-Bit and Quatlu.
Goodbye 8-Bit, goodbye Quatlu. So sad, Quatlu getting axed at Poloniex, getting axed at Bittrex.
Why picking on the little guys, Bittrex? Why not delist a huge market cap coin?
Quatlu is one of the ones that's been having 51% attacks.
Oh, yeah.
One of the proof of work attacks have been going on.
Can't have that.
Yep, and apparently they're just over it, at least in the case of Quatlu. It's going to be delisted.
Looks like that's going to be going down on June 30th.
Now, 8-Bit was a proof of stake.
8-Bit's still on Topia, too.
8-Bit was just from
Quatlu's around somewhere as well.
8-Bit was just from a really funny time of coins when there were just a ton of proof of work, proof of stake coins getting launched.
Yeah, Quatlu's on Cryptopia, too.
We'll be sad to see him go.
Yeah, got to keep keeping on if you're a small chain. That's how it works.
Yeah, it's true.
Never give up.
Yeah, there's there's definitely more going on out there in the side markets than there ever has been before too, so we're seeing a lot of surprising amount of activity from delisted coins lately.
Right.
Especially Poloniex delistings have done really well on other markets.
Oh yeah, I feel like most of the coins that got delisted from Poloniex in the last year rebounded really well. As long as they were listed elsewhere already.
Right, yeah, we can't say the same about, I don't know, DM or something that's just totally gone, but maybe it's not.
I don't think it is.
Maybe it's not.
I don't think it's totally gone.
What? I wonder what's happening to DM now. Like, it's probably been like 6 months since they got delisted. So anyway, that's the Bittrex delisting of 8-Bit and Quatlu.
In other news, monetary unit swap is in progress.
MUE, plucky little coin from nowhere.
The plucky little coin that had a man in Las Vegas with a sandwich board advertising it when we started this show.
Yep. It was like, 50 sat or something? I don't actually remember the price. But
anyways, they're swapping algos from Quark to X11, and they're also adding in some master nodes. And that swap is already taking place, so if your coins were not on Bittrex or their new mymue.com site prior to that beginning, I think you're kind of shit out of luck. But hopefully people that want it to be where they need it to be.
So the swap has happened, basically?
It's actually like either in progress or finished by this point. I can't say.
Right on.
Haven't checked.
Well, MUE.
Still in progress, most likely.
Does the name change stay the same here?
I think the name is staying the same.
Just changing blockchains to support masternodes?
And the new algorithm.
Okay. Right on. So that is MUE. Their swap is swapped.
One last bit of news today. Kind of interesting stuff. Those SIA ASICs are kind of starting to pop up in news and elsewhere.
I'd always been curious about SIA mining. I thought was it just GPU mining before this? I think it was for a long time.
That must have been the case, yeah.
They are releasing an ASIC of their own, I guess.
Yep. 100 gigahashes.
I wonder what that actually means in the context of
The estimated
coin mining.
Yeah, they kind of tried to estimate it. What did they say? They tried to say how many coins you were going to get. Let me see if I can find that again really quickly, if it's possible.
Yeah, but I mean they have to calculate it against the number. It's like if they're planning on building 1,000 of these things, they should probably calculate the rewards against 1,000 ASICs.
Well, don't worry. They put an asterisk next to it. It says their estimation would be a 60,000 SIA coin monthly revenue. And the price is they're putting it at about 2.5 thousand US dollars.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, that's a pretty badass move.
It's just it's interesting and tempting to me because getting it, if it were to be a success, getting in on the first batch of any type of ASIC market sounds really cool.
Yeah, that does sound cool. You really are taking on a lot of risk too, and just in terms of the delivery of the product. A lot of times first generation ASICs just don't work very well.
I mean, yeah, the quality of the manufacturing could be questionable. Nobody has them yet.
Exactly. So I guess we'll see. I think it's a really bold move to develop this kind of technology for a coin, especially something as specific as SIA.
Yeah, one part that I like about that is the embracing ASICs rather than necessarily fighting them thing.
Yep.
I can see both sides, and there's some coins that have done really well on the wanting to only be CPU mineable side of things, but I think for these really big chains, embracing it is awesome.
Yeah, you get a potential for centralization of mining, but you also gain some advantage for using ASICs, for instance. Let's say that a coin, a lot of these proof of work chains have been dealing with 51% attack and stuff lately. If you're a coin like SIA coin with a proprietary ASIC, the only way for somebody to do 51% attack is to get control of 51% of all the ASICs out there, right? They can't just have a big GPU farm or rent a bunch of GPUs or do something like that to mess with your chain. So you get some interesting challenges as far as the security and the quality of the distribution of your mining and stuff. But you also get some added benefits in that regard as well.
Boom, that's the news.
That's the news right there. Another great week of news.
Send us news. We're happy to take a look at information about what's happening in particular blockchains or larger issues within the space too. Contact us, blockchaindynamics.net.
Or pop on over to our Cryptopia thread. We're in the altcoin section, Cryptopia forums. Check it out. We really like it when people leave suggestions there as well.
Might even drop you some dot.
Yeah, you get some free dots just for showing up.
All right, let's jump into those markets. I'm interested to see how the numbers are actually going to break down this week. My impression has been that people have had kind of mixed experiences this week, more so than we had in the past little bits where things were really bullish, So now some things are going up, some things are going down, and people are feeling on the fence.
Yeah, some runners are running. So, and some coins are struggling. Some coins are sideways. So you really get that sense of, in the trading community especially, there's a lot of jealousy and various other things that people feel. So it's like the people out there with big wins are always going to be out there kind of bragging or a little bit happier about it. And the people who are just sitting on coins or waiting are just usually a little bit grumpier. It's always fun to see that kind of dynamic.
Okay. So how about Bitcoin? Big Papa Bitcoin.
Oh, Bitcoin.
That's where we like to start.
Oh, Bitcoin. Old Bitcoin is up 1.77% this week.
Okay. So from last Sunday, Bitcoin is now at $2,585.28, and that's up $44.97.
So a decent week for Bitcoin, I guess. Of course, the week prior to that was when it crashed down from 3,000 to 25, in the 2,500 range.
Yeah. This is almost as good as flat as Bitcoin gets. We had that one week where it was legitimately flat prior to the pump. Mm-hmm. Do you remember that a little bit? But this is that's pretty much that's not much change in a week.
Yeah, this is about as small of a change as you can get in Bitcoin, even though the intra-week volatility was still pretty high. But even then, nothing like it had been in prior weeks. As far as Ethereum goes, is at $299.97.
Ouch!
When we took the snapshot,
that's a little bit painful for some people. That's down 19.5% basically.
Yeah, that's a $72 drop from last week. So $372. That seems like a shitload of money for Ethereum.
Yeah.
So in a way,
it was on a heck of a tear.
Yeah, $300 I'm okay with $300 for Ethereum, but as far as what this means for the trend, it doesn't look great. It looks like if there's an all-time high run for Ethereum, it might not be anytime soon.
Might have to do a little work for it. But I also, from my perspective, I would not be surprised for it to do whatever the fuck it wants.
Yeah, it's just it got so close. Got so close to passing Bitcoin. So it's fun to think about a situation where you just wake up in a week and it's, 300%. It's now the new number one coin or whatever.
But the numbers say what they say.
Yep, this week.
And it is down a lot.
Taking a broader look at the altcoin markets, we take a sample of the top 100 coins. 39 out of 100 coins are up versus US dollar. 39 out of 100 coins are up versus Bitcoin.
Okay.
So essentially the majority of the top 100 coins are down.
Yep.
About 60-40 on that ratio. Looking at the overall percentage change, down 9%.
Okay.
And the numbers are about the same in USD versus Bitcoin this week because of the small Bitcoin change.
Ah, that makes sense. Yeah.
So about 9% down in USD value, down 9.2% in Bitcoin value. This is a big drop, man. This is a big hit for alts. We haven't seen a drop this big in a little while.
Yep.
But again...
But what was it, 9 weeks of upward movement?
Yeah, exactly. But we've been. I guess we didn't stall. We had a new all-time high pretty recently, I think.
At least...
Maybe it was last week.
Yeah, within the last 3 weeks, that's for sure. But in crypto, that could be quite a while, too.
Yeah, that's true.
I acknowledge that.
in the 2017 crypto market, 3 weeks is an epoch. Let's see here. The median change this week, minus 2.7%.
That's against the US dollar, and then the median percentage change against Bitcoin would be down 2.76.
Yep, so about
pretty close, almost the same.
Basically the same there.
As far as actual gainers and losers this week, on the gainer side, XAS, I guess that's Ash, they're up 149%.
Never heard of that coin before.
Edgeless, up 93%. EAC, up 83%. And First Blood, up 78%.
Yep, that's Earthcoin. I've never heard of this Ash coin.
No, that doesn't ring a bell.
Heard of this? I've never heard of it.
XAS.
Oh, wow. Up 149%. I don't know. Taking a look at the losers this week. Bullberry, down 43.
Uh-oh.
Round, minus 33%. We got them. Swarm City tokens are down 29%. And Counterparty drops 21%.
But for real, it's kind of like choose whichever one you want in that category because that is down about the same amount as Ethereum.
Yeah, it's true. What's interesting this week, so we got Ethereum down 20%. Broader alt markets are down about 9%. That figure includes Ethereum, right? And Ethereum's almost half the overall market. So that actually tells you that regular altcoins were probably pretty flat this week. And I actually don't have the number to track. This new report generator I have doesn't have the ability to calculate the top 100 without Ethereum yet. I got to toss that in there.
Oh, nice. That'd be good.
Because I think if we did have that calculation, it would show that the broader top 100 was probably mostly flat in overall value. More losers than winners, which is kind of a normal thing. And then Ethereum way down. Basically, I think explains the numbers this week.
Yeah, and we were also thinking that as we move into this next market phase, we might have to generate sort of a mid to low cap index. Maybe that's 2 indexes, but so that we can kind of get another snapshot of what's happening with outside of the top 100.
Yeah, some of the old-timey traders have thrown around an idea about in the general altcoin market cycles, the beginning of the market cycle, the kind of the part that some would say might be wrapping up right now, is really good for high caps, big coins, right? We got Bitcoin way up, Ethereum way up, all these top 100 coins, Stratus, all this stuff, way, way, way up.
They were loving it.
Yep. And then there's an imagination at some point that the situation will tip to be bearish for these high cap coins, for Bitcoin, for Ethereum, for that kind of stuff. And then the theory goes that you're better off being in lower, mid, and small cap coins during this period because they're less vulnerable to price decreases in Bitcoin and in other alts. That's the idea.
Right. That's also largely choosing the correct mid to small cap because I know that that's not the case for all of them.
Right. You could never just play every mid cap. You could never play every small cap. You need to have criteria to, to cut out the good from the bad, I guess. And so
you want that wheat.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be chaff. But so yeah, that's one theory. We want to check it out. So we want to kind of compare the difference between mid and small cap performance, with some different indexes coming up. So that should be fun.
So some coins moved in and out of the top 100 this week. The ones that moved out were Token as a Service, the Swarm City, TKN.
Token card.
Right. Vox, QAU.
That one is Quantum.
Right. DTB, XBY, and Sky.
Yep, those all have dropped out of the top 100.
What moved in, Brando?
Jumping in, Numerai coming in hot. Peer Plays, Elastic also came in real hot this week. Cloak Coin, Mona, CFI, I think that's co-founded. Luck Chain, and WorldCoin.
Oh, that's an older one.
Yeah, WorldCoin showing up in the top 100. How does that work? I'm curious. I think it's on like a
one of those bigger Chinese exchanges or something.
Yeah, it's on Jubi. It's a Jubi pump. So that's pretty funny. WorldCoin as an old coin.
Okay.
All right.
That's the top 100 coin market cap index there.
Boom.
So let's take a look now at our Ethereum subtoken index.
That's right. Ethereum subtokens have kind of taken on a life of their own. It's like their own little world out there. So we are trying to kind of judge them as a unit as well.
Yeah, just track their progress as a group.
So, of course, keeping in mind that Ethereum is down $70 this week, we'll now look at the little tokens. One thing we noticed is that when Ethereum was doing really well, tokens tended to underperform a little bit.
Right.
So I'm curious to see now tokens. How are tokens going to do on a week where Bitcoin and Ethereum
would they like maybe hold their value against something else?
Yeah, exactly. What do they hold their value against is the question, I guess. Or if anything, maybe it's just their own thing. So taking a look, we're now looking at 36 of these tokens. And out of that 36, we have 13 up versus US dollar and 12 up versus Bitcoin.
What got added this week to this index, Brando?
We had quantum resistant ledger, and I think I added IOTA. I might take it off because its market cap is so high it's going to distort the numbers, but I think IOTA is in this one for now.
Okay.
Also Humanic. So again, going back to the numbers, majority are down versus USD, majority are down versus Bitcoin. Where it diverges is that if you look at the actual index change, it's actually up 8% this week versus US dollar, up about 7.7% versus Bitcoin. So definitely,
that's better than last week.
Yep, way overperforming Ethereum, and also holding their value. They're making these gains against US dollar. They're making these gains against Bitcoin, right? So that means versus Ethereum, they're doing even better.
That's really cool.
So a little surprising there, but when you actually get into it, the median coin is still down. Right?
So would have been easy to lose.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The median change is actually 5.7% down. Interesting. I wonder which coins exactly are driving these gains.
Well, we can look at our gainers and losers here, shall we?
Good call.
On the gainer side, EMV is up 118%. Sorry, go ahead. Which one is that?
That's the Ethereum movie venture.
Oh. I saw one tweet about that at some point this week, and it crossed. I remembered us talking about it briefly, so
it's funny.
That's a funny one. I'd love to see that movie if it ever.
So true.
I got high hopes for you, man. Edgeless was up 90%.
Oh, that might be what's driving.
First Blood was up 80%, and ICN Economy was up 73%. So those are all pretty big gains.
Yeah, those are huge gains on big cap coins, so that makes sense. If you look at the total value of this index right now, it's at about 3.8 billion. That's the 36 coins in the index, and so That's not a huge amount, right? When you compare it to something like Ethereum, it's I don't know.
It's just a fraction of it. Yeah,
exactly.
Small fraction.
And that's basically, we don't have every Ethereum subtoken in here, but we have a pretty healthy chunk of them. So the ecosystem itself is still pretty small. And so it's obvious that big pumps on stuff like Edgeless, First Blood, Economy is really having a huge effect on the overall index.
Fascinating, honestly. I just like tracking this. It'll be really cool to see how it goes. If there becomes hundreds of these, then we can have like the top 100 of them.
Yeah, and Waves is developing its own universe too, so it's kind of cool to see these ecosystems developing and how they're going to interact, and what the interoperability situation is going to end up turning into.
I'm definitely seeing a lot more tokens that tend to interact with both the Waves and Ethereum blockchains.
Yeah, it seems like Waves Ethereum interoperability is
starting to become a priority a little bit.
It's starting to become a little more real too. There's working examples of it out there in the wild.
Yeah.
The only one I can think of offhand is RiptoBucks, but I think there's some others out there too.
Cool.
As far as the losers this week on the Ethereum tokens index, we got Round down 33%, Swarm City token down 28%, Minerium they're down 22%,
and Quantum Resistant Ledger.
Yep,
I recognize that one. QRL.
It's a nice ticker.
Down 19.
We're going to add this week to the Ethereum tokens index Numerai and co-found it.
Yep, new this week, so not enough data to include in the data this week, but on the next one. Cool.
I'm taking a look at the overall numbers. Altcoins are at 63.5 billion. That's down about 5 billion this week.
Which is about 7%.
We got Bitcoin dominance at 40.2%. That's up 2.4% from last week. It was around 38% last week.
Hey, nothing wrong with that, honestly. It did hit an all-time low.
Yep.
I think it's really easy to lose sight of where we're at.
It's really tough, and, Ethereum has become such a big player that, Bitcoin dominance is up this week because Ethereum is down, and the rest of alts are kind of flat. Bitcoin was kind of flat, really. Ethereum dominance itself is at 44.5%. That's down 5.5%. And that's the percentage of Ethereum's market cap for all versus all altcoins, basically.
And that was down from 50% last week. That was pretty close to its all-time high, right?
Yeah, we've seen it kind of tease that 50% mark. I think it broke through it once for a little bit earlier in the cycle, but since then we've kind of just seen it floating around 50% and now losing a little bit of ground.
Cool. That's going to kind of wrap up the market summary for this week.
That's it for the markets. Another ridiculous week. We'll be back next week with
hopefully
some fresh content.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
I wish I could say that we're coming with good news, right?
Yeah, we don't know what the news.
We don't know what the news will be.
If it's a huge crash, we'll
let you know.
We'll have all kinds of numbers.
Yep.
Alrighty. Next segment here is going to be our user mentions.
Yeah, we've been really appreciating people interacting with us through the Cryptopia forum. Shout out to Crypto Billionaire for giving us suggestions to do with ICOs because we don't particularly want to be choosing ICOs to cover.
Yeah, we really appreciate it when people give us suggestions on ICOs. It makes it a lot easier, especially with how many there are out there. And Crypto Billionaire has come up with some great suggestions, so we appreciate it.
Also non-ICO projects. But this week we have a couple suggestions from a few different people. But top of the list, we're going to talk about TenX.
TenX.
The first thing that is going to be pretty clear to that anyone that hears about that name is that the implication of the name is also like a market. What you want to do with your money, right? I mean, that's obvious.
Yep,
it's right there in the name.
I absolutely love it when coins make a statement about the price in the name of the coin itself.
Yep, I like it. I felt that way with Rise,
Waves,
with Waves a little bit. So, let's see. What is TenX, Brando?
There've been others. Profit Coin. TenX. This is like another crypto debit card deal. So like a crypto multi-wallet with a debit card integration. Somehow you just...
There was a video of them using it.
Yeah, the production on this is pretty slick. They've got nice videos. They had an ICO that just wrapped up this week. They raised about $60 million in 10 minutes, so that's kind of that's the new normal, I guess.
Is that like really good, or is that standard now? I don't even know. Like how big are these getting?
I think Bancor was like 150 million or something. That's crazy.
So this is almost like a medium-sized one? Or I just don't even
I'd say
know.
it's-
I guess I shouldn't think about him in those terms. I should just think 60 million.
I guess. I think it's on the larger end of all the ICOs that have happened for sure.
Okay.
Let's see here. So, again, the underlying idea is that it's a crypto debit card. The token holders will get paid out basically from the fees that people spend into the card. So this is a little bit different than some of the other models for these debit cards like Monaco. In Monaco, all the money goes into a pool, and then you can cash out your percentage of the pool by cashing in your Monaco. This it looks like it's more of a dividends model. So everybody...
You keep your stuff you stake it, is for lack of a better word?
I assume you would keep your... They call them pay as the token. So I assume you'd keep your token in an ETH wallet, and then you would get a dividend payment of some kind. I'm not actually 100% clear on that aspect of it.
So I guess the goal of any of these credit card projects at this point is to kind of prove that it works and gain a user base, right? Because none of them have a huge one yet.
No, and then you have these are interesting projects to me from a fundamentals level because their profitability is heavily driven by the use case and the actual usage, right? At the fundamentals level, which often is not that important, especially in the kind of the type of bubble that we're in right now, but you want to think about they're going to have a crypto debit card that people get paid out in fees. In order to get the $60 million back that they paid for the tokens, they're going to have to collect $60 million in fees. And then you look at the usage on other debit card products and you kind of wonder if that's realistic, right? Obviously, there's a layer of speculation and other stuff on there too. And there's the idea that you can build a user base and then kind of launch off other services from there as well.
Sure.
But one thing I do like, they're very specific on the tech on this one, which is something that I appreciate. The whole thing is built around this idea of the commit network, maybe the Comet network, COMIT network, which is a blockchain interoperability platform. There's a lot of interest in blockchain interop kind of tech right now.
Absolutely.
So they're tackling that head on, and some of the underlying tech there I could see being just as valuable as the debit card application, right? They're really focusing on the debit card application. But what the white paper is more about and what the kind of the meat and bones of the project seems to be about is this commit network, this Comet network, which is a much, what could be a broader in scope interoperability network. And what I did like about the white paper is they have a pretty clear vision of kind of how all of this could work and the incentives in place that makes sense in light of a blockchain system, right? A lot of times people will make promises about the coins that it's kind of hard to put the dots together and understand how what they're doing is going to do what they say it's going to do.
Well, I know one of your favorite questions to me is what's the point of the token?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, yeah, exactly. So they've got a pretty good explanation there, and essentially the idea is you have what they are calling liquidity providers who will exist out there, and the TenX thing will be a smart contract framework. You've got these liquidity providers who will make offers for essentially conversions, coin conversions on a decentralized network. And then when you as a person, let's say I want to buy coffee with my...
You're down at Starbucks.
Yeah, I'm down. I spent a lot of time at Starbucks, right? So you're down there with your debit card. You want to get something. You're going to scan your debit card. You're going to select what your coin you want to pay with. This is going to go out to the TenX kind of smart contract thing, which can integrate with the blockchain of whatever you're trying to send with, provided the blockchain has a few key features that they list off. They can integrate with it.
Nice.
And so you'll integrate with Dash. That'll send a message out, and then the TenX kind of their blockchain system will essentially piece together what the shortest path of liquidity providers is to get from the coin that you have to what you want to transact with. Okay.
Well, the first thing that comes to my mind is Shapeshift. I wonder if they're going to integrate with that API. That sounds like a really good opportunity.
Essentially, what they seem to essentially be trying to compete directly with Shapeshift in terms of what they're trying to offer.
But with their own mechanism, sort of.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay.
With this Comet network. And so what their goal essentially would be to have really low cost, really low confirmation essentially decentralized conversions from one digital currency to the other to facilitate
I'm following you.
these payments.
It's interesting. Man, that'd be fun.
So I thought that was all really cool, and I like how they laid it out in a way that's believable. Some of the promises they're making about it aren't entirely realistic, I don't think. To say they're like, oh, this is going to be a zero-cost payment network or near zero cost with instant settlements. You
really got to prove that type of thing before you say it, sort of.
Well, I mean, you can say it, but it just seems hard to achieve with the design that they've come up with because it all hinges around these liquidity providers. They're going to need to get some kind of fee, right? And what controls their ability to get lower fees is higher volume. And going back to the original problem with the coin, a lot of these use cases don't have a huge volume right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
And so to begin with, especially on obscure paths and stuff, if you're going from an obscure cryptocurrency to another, obscure form of payment, your liquidity paths are going to be pretty stretched. There's no way for that to be accomplished at a super low fee.
Right. I understand that.
The liquidity provider's using an exchange, so that's kind of baked in, and they're going to take a cut themselves. So you end up with a system that has a lot of hops, and to claim that that's going to be easy to get done at a low fees is not super realistic.
No, probably just but Bitcoin to USD, probably lowest fee, right?
Yep, definitely. Yep. Or even, I think like Bitcoin to Ethereum would have a really low fee.
Yeah.
Crypto to crypto would probably be the lowest fee on a high liquidity market.
That makes sense.
But anyway, that's TenX. They had a huge their marketing and stuff is really on point.
So that they raised a bunch of money. The ICO's over. I suppose that means I can expect to have it trading on a exchange near me soon.
Definitely. Yep.
Great.
We also are going to take a look at an upcoming ICO called PrimalBase.
PrimalBase. This is interesting. They are, you've probably heard of the shared workspace industry phenomenon.
I hadn't really heard of it, but it's pretty self-explanatory, right? Yeah, I get it.
So they're going to rent office space to and from each other through this platform using the PrimalBase tokens. The crowd sale actually starts tomorrow on this one, and one thing that's going to be unique about this is the tokens are going to be very expensive because of the way that they've structured it by deciding that they're only going to have 1,000 of these tokens created.
It's a blast from the past.
So
reminds me of 42 coin.
Right.
These ultra low supply coins of the days of yore.
Yeah. But since we're in this ICO and frenzy, they're going to basically be charging, like the first day there's actually a 40% discount, which is actually significant, but they're going to do 3 Bitcoins for one PrimalBase token that day. Jesus. And then 4 Bitcoins for the week after that, and then 5 Bitcoins after that. My question is, in this environment, do they really think they're going to make it to that second week?
Yeah, it's really funny watching these tiered reward ICOs come out when everything sells out in 6 minutes or whatever.
Right.
That's hilarious. So what, that's like 1,000. They're selling 1,000 of them. 3 Bitcoins each probably. If they all sell out on the first day, that's 3,000 Bitcoin. So that's like 8 million market cap maybe right now. 7 million market cap. That's pretty small for an Ethereum ICO in this climate. The vision on this one isn't like that lofty, I would say, right? Like compared to TenX, which, they've got that vision of blockchain interoperability, decentralized, conversion of payments, that kind of thing. This is something that's just like a more traditional thing that they're trying to do with a crypto, right?
Definitely.
It's like, this is a shared workspace. This is the idea of, well, you can rent one out with this crypto.
Yeah, and the way that you obtain the space seems almost a little, unfortunately, I guess I've got to say too good to be true,
right.
Because they're saying that it's going to be 1 PrimalBase token per person for full access to a space with essentially no redaction. Like, you just have access to this thing forever now that you paid 1 PrimalBase token.
So do you give them control of the token, or you hold the token?
You pay with it.
So it's not your proof of ownership that gets you the workspace.
Well, it is because you send it to them. Like it's a transaction. It had to have been yours if you sent it, right?
But then you can't sell it?
Not anymore. Nope. You gave it to them. You bought the space from them.
So that's, that's very, that's not very conventional in a blockchain sense for what you
Right.
for the way that people are used to interacting with it. I guess
Yeah.
Like if everyone sends them the PrimalBase tokens, is it done then?
Well, it seems that they would have to strategically sell the PrimalBase tokens back to their customers so that they can sell more space. And I don't know.
But
how
then
they
they
would
would have to have
manage that.
added. They'd have to have added space to do that.
Yeah, so as far as space goes, they're planning on rolling it out in a bunch of like big cities around the world. They say that they already have one going in Amsterdam, which sounds kind of interesting. But I also have questions about that. Like, for one, if it's running, how are the people getting the space? Because PrimalBase token doesn't come out till tomorrow. And second, why aren't there any photos of the place? You'd really want to show that off if you had it going.
And what's the this one's hard for me to wrap my brain around in some ways.
But it also seems like a really big, well-organized ICO. So, I don't know.
That's true.
I don't know.
PrimalBase.
The minimum amount of PrimalBase token they're selling is 0.0001, in case you were wondering.
What kind of workspace does that get you?
None. You can't get one. That's just
Yeah,
for the crowd sale.
so it's a
it costs
minimum.
It costs one PrimalBase token for entry to the space. That they were pretty clear on that.
Right. It's just hard to conceive of the logistics of all this, right?
Yeah.
Like,
well, there has to be.
You get that guarantee. Essentially, the promise they're making, the lifetime guarantee of all that stuff.
That sounds crazy.
It's just dependent on their business, right? None of that is guaranteed through any kind of a decentralized mechanism.
Right, and also we have to make the assumption that somebody behind this had enough money to invest in actual property prior to distributing the tokens, or else what are you going to do?
Right.
It's like.
And but on the other hand, it's conceivable that some of these kind of token products could improve the efficiency of existing business models. So, I'm open to the idea of people bringing conventional services to a blockchain in a kind of fairly centralized, what seems to be a fairly centralized way like this.
Yeah.
I'm open to people trying to integrate blockchain into that in unique ways. But, we're used to crypto, type shit, and that's, in terms of the value proposition, I guess, which again, with the bubble the way it is, the actual value proposition often doesn't have a real huge effect on what the actual price is at any given day. But when you think about it like that, it's like, you can expect in the real world to get, if you're running a business that leased out workspaces.
Yeah.
What kind of returns are you expecting to get? Like it's single digit percents per year. Maybe slow double digit percent returns per year.
Right.
We're crypto traders. We're used to just preposterous, like insane kind of returns.
Right.
And so if I'm looking at ICO stuff to invest in, it's hard for me to see the fundamentals proposition isn't that great.
If we're going to speculate hard on this token, the poor people that actually want those freaking PrimalBase spots, dude.
Yeah, maybe they won't be able to get them. People will just be hoarding the coins.
It'll just be empty locations.
Yeah, that's true. If you lose your private key, does that spot just go empty for all time?
You get banned.
Yeah, you're done.
Anyways, that's another big one.
PrimalBase ICO. But one thing I do like about the PrimalBase.
Yeah.
This 1,000 max tokens thing's fucking.
That's going to be fun.
Such a good.
I can't
move.
wait to see how this goes.
Such a good move. There's nothing like people. People have a hard time dealing with the numbers when the orders of magnitude get way off what they're used to. We saw it with Zcash, and so I think when this comes out, a 3 Bitcoin IPO price, God knows what it'll actually trade at. People are going to make bad decisions. It's going to be pretty fun.
Yep. Over on the last customer, or excuse me, the last user suggestion we got here is SONM. SONM. That's another huge one.
SONM. Yeah, if you've been anywhere in the crypto land, you've seen SONM.
SONM. It was so funny. I looked up when I
Avatars.
finally went to their website. I was like, recognized the logo immediately. I was like, oh yeah, everybody on Bitcoin Talk that does the signature thing or the whatever thing has this in there right now.
They're all doing it. They're doing the whole big thing.
So this is another ICO that's over.
Yep, kind of extraneous to do all the advertising with the market the way it is. These guys raised $32 million in however many minutes. So a little more conservative compared to TenX, about half. still, it used to be like $3 million.
Their idea here
Times are
is a supercomputer, distributed supercomputer. Nowhere near a new idea at this point.
True.
But, some of the use cases they list on their website, scientific calculations, really large rendering jobs, various types of hosting, like websites and game servers.
So this is the same proposition as Golem. So they're both.
And Elastic to a certain extent, I think.
I think Elastic is the most similar as well. I'd be curious as to what the actual structural or specific differences are in the implementation on those and kind of what the different direction would be. I think at our level, without a working product, it's like impossible to tell. Whether they're going to be able to achieve this, what the time frame is going to be.
Right. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it was a huge ICO. It's trading around with a lot of these. I don't have a big use for them, so the use cases are not actually that exciting to me.
Yeah, it's just like, check us out.
Yeah. But then again, they don't give you a lot to look at either. When you go to these guys' website, they're not like, oh, check this out. Here's how it works.
Yeah, exactly. This is the sort of thing that a testnet type situation is always nice to see, or something like that. But until then, I usually don't pay too much attention to them. We've talked about how the marketing can affect the price on this stuff, like PrimalBase with their 1,000 coins or whatever. That's going to have an effect on the price.
Yeah.
TenX with they have solid marketing over on TenX with the big ICO and everything. That's going to have an effect on the coin price as well.
SONM's got that swarm.
Yep. And so it's the same story with SONM. It's like the price, because we're just in the middle of a bubble and none of these products are actually working yet. It's like it's really tough to gauge the price.
I know. It's amazing.
Or the quality of the product.
Yeah. That's why I mostly just stay out of a lot of it as a trader. I like learning about all of it. It's really cool projects.
Yep.
But I mean, what are you supposed to do as an investor? Take a high risk like that? Lots of people do. It's awesome.
Yeah, there's definitely patterns and stuff you can look for, but either way, SONM is one that I feel like is really, it's got a strong fundamental driver like the other ones, which is nice, but we'll be curious to see what they can do with it.
Yep. Let's move on to the 15,000 dot giveaway.
That's right. That was the user suggestions. We are going to jump into our dot giveaway.
You know how it works. You send me a direct message at Chain Dynamics with the answer. First person to get it right gets the coins.
It's true. You're just going to tweet at Chain Dynamics, your dot address and the answer. We'll get you some dots if you're the first one to get it right. You got to claim it during the live broadcast.
That's right.
So if you're listening on archive, it's already too late. If nobody has answered it by the end of the show, then we'll roll the dot reward over to next week.
Sounds good. Question this week is, how many Bitcoin did the Bitcoin Architects ArchCoin ICO raise?
Once again, that question this week. How many Bitcoin did BTC Architects ArchCoin ICO raise? Is it ArchCoin or ArcCoin? I've never known. I don't know what the official pronunciation is.
Well, that's another one that I always thought was the description of the chart. And it was going to be a big arch that went all the way up and all the way down.
That's not entirely inaccurate. Or maybe like an upside down arch, because that would imply that it goes back up, I guess.
Anyway, the question was, how many Bitcoins did that ICO raise? That's an older ICO.
That's the dot giveaway. Next up, we're going to jump right into our new coins this week.
That's right. We love those new coins.
ICOs were out in force this week. 22 new ICO announcements.
There's actually more than that too. That's just like the ones that had enough information for me to write their name down.
The 22. Some these days it's just like someone will post a Bitcoin address and be like, "There's totally an ICO here, guys." It's funny.
It's always been that way. It's just worse and worse.
That's compared to last week. We had 15 ICOs. Last week we had 9 coins that we covered that weren't ICOs. And
this week we only are going to have 4.
Only 4. Were we light on coins this week, or was it just a lot of like the really bad ones?
There's some that were like, what there was a lot of this week were pre-announcements with no info that I was not expecting. Right?
Okay.
They're just like,
coming soon.
Yeah, we'll talk to you soon about this coin.
Ah.
Okay, cool. At least if you're going to do a pre-announcement, there's some pre-announcements that kind of get my interest, and some of these were not them. So
right. Those are the worst to keep up with too, because
yeah,
unless they post another thread when they launch the coin, you're not going to see it.
Nope.
Alrighty. So looking at the 4 non-ICO coins this week, we are going to start it off with Hexagon.
Hexagon.
All right. What do we got here?
So this has a lot of coins, talking about 5.3 billion total coming up.
5.3 billion script.
So I guess the most
Long
important
proof of
most
work.
important part is that the pre-mine is 17,000 blocks.
Right.
I feel like we might as well just start measuring pre-mines in blocks at this point, you know.
That
Just
makes
cut
sense.
to the chase.
Makes sense.
That's too many.
Yep, it's a big old pre-mine. It's a really generic script coin. The size of the pre-mine is inflated by having a really long proof of work phase. Just the usual. Usual to and fro. Nothing special about Hexagon.
So on to the next one. This is Mozzi, Mozzi.
Mozzi.
I got to learn through this that Mozzi is Australian slang for a mosquito.
The slogan on this one, it sucks. Okay.
I was like, wait, where's the pre-mine here?
Where is it?
There actually doesn't seem to be one.
No pre-mine. It says no ICO. I don't see. Where does it say no pre-mine?
It doesn't directly
curious.
say it.
I'll check.
So beyond that, it doesn't really promise anything new. We've seen some coins without ICOs coming out in the last months, and so it's kind of just another coin.
Yeah, it's really generic. The mining specs, it's got those increasing block rewards. That's always nice to see.
True.
Really common lately, actually, to see increasing block rewards. Makes it more accessible, I guess.
Especially for people that actually want miners. I guess that was the part that I kind of perked up on this one, was that it seemed like they were actually looking for miners a little bit.
Yep.
A little bit more than some of the stuff we've seen, I guess. I don't know.
Looks like it does have a big old pre-mine.
Okay, thanks for looking that up.
Let's see here. About 1,000 blocks. It's pretty small as far as pre-mines go, actually. But
Still there.
About 10,000 blocks.
Ah, jeez.
So,
It does suck. They were right. Oh, well.
Mozzi, you lose.
There
You're
was
done.
another one that I also think doesn't have a pre-mine.
Might not have a pre-mine. Trading coin.
Yeah. This
Trading
one
coin.
actually at least says it in the post. This
a
one's
good
called
sign.
TradingCoin X11. It's also a large amount of coins, but that's not so bad these days. They're looking at about 1
Ooh.
billion. But that block reward is only... they tried to do 1 coin block reward and a difficulty retargeting of 40 days? What?
That's insane. That couldn't possibly.
You broke it.
All right, now I want to... This would be fun to mine just to mess with that, see what that feels like.
So it seems like they've... it seems like you can't do that without understanding some of the repercussions. Like, I can't imagine accidentally setting the difficulty retargeting at 40 days, right?
40 days, yeah. What would happen with that essentially is that there would be just huge swings in the block time. Like,
people are having a lot of trouble with it.
well, what would happen is you'd get one series that were really fast. That's 40 days worth of blocks or whatever that would be. So 60,000 blocks or something. And then those are going to be really fast, and then the difficulty is going to go way up, and then you're going to have what should be 40 days of slow blocks, but it's going to end up being like a year. It wouldn't be good.
So it seems like I couldn't quite catch up with the discussion in that thread, but it seemed like they were acknowledging the issues, and so who knows, maybe that'll be a relaunch or something that will never be fixed. I don't know.
Ready to coin there. Trading coin, really generic here too. Real low effort stuff.
Finally, up is Sept coin.
Sept coin. Okay.
I don't have a whole bunch of better news here. This is going to be a different algo, SHA-256, but going to have that 18% pre-mine still.
Yep, incredibly generic copy-paste coin here with a big old pre-mine. Nothing to see.
And that's actually pretty much it, except for the ICOs, which we'll run through. There was Rebby, Granny's Help Token, Vosh, Superior Coin, Block Lancer, Dent, Bet King, Everex, Spective, Bytome, Etheria, Immersive iOS, Tap Project, Battledrome, Teos, BitJob, Atoria, MonsterByte, Mothership, Light Bitcoin, MOAC, and Silver Ammo.
Nice. All right, what a selection.
It's that Granny's Help Token that you're most interested in.
Granny's Help Token, that's definitely going to work. So yeah, a really quiet week for the new coins this week.
Yep, interesting.
And really nothing that stands out as far as I'm concerned.
I think it's just these like bigger ICOs are just so dominating.
That's the game
That's just
right
what
now,
seems
man.
to be going on,
That's
I guess.
the game right now. It is
That's
what
where
it
it's
is.
at.
Alrighty. So that's going to wrap it up for new coins this week. Next, we will jump into the listings.
Yeah, coins get listed and then we trade them.
It's true. That's how it works.
Over on Cryptopia, they listed CryptCoin. They listed DaxCoin. They listed DynastyCoin. They listed Voice. They listed Flash. And they listed Einsteinium. They also added USDT and NZDT pairs for Ethereum Classic and Hush.
All right, beefing up those NZDT, and they would probably say NZDT. Do they say Z?
I bet they would. I don't
New
know.
Zealand?
I don't want to claim to have any idea.
NZDT.
Over on Bittrex, they listed Mysterium, Co-Foundit, Numere, and Bancor.
My God, that Numerai listing was unbelievable.
They pounded out a good like 10,000 Bitcoins
Unbelievable.
volume on the first day.
It-
Or first 48 hours, well, at least.
This Numerai listing reminded me the most of Pascal Coin listing, like just ridiculous. It's incredible what people will do out of the gate. It's like these huge buy walls, huge sell walls. I mean, just getting annihilated.
Yeah, pretty fun to watch.
Beautiful thing.
Yobit, you know how they do it in bursts. So they listed MCO, JNT, Skull, XMG, Walk, HON, eGame, PIE, U Down, Fidget, Weak, KNC, Max, SLCO, KISS, XNM, Profit, Tag, SHRP, ELC, Ruby, SNM, XNM, and Humanique.
A lot of those ETH tokens. A lot of older coins in that list for Yobit.
Yeah.
Magi.
Yep.
Humanic. I'm calling Humanic an old coin.
Nah,
it's like
I
2
don't-
weeks
oh,
old.
yeah.
I don't know if that counts.
Ruby.
Ruby. Yeah, Ruby definitely counts.
Then over on Novaexchange, they listed Inca Coin, KBC Coin, Corgi Coin, Antimatter, Bitcrypt Coin, Europe, Crinkle, Charlie Brown Coin, Sprouts, Plasma, and Puis Coin.
Okay. Our friends over at Livecoin added Leo Coin. Let's see. Over on coinexchange.io, they added Round Coin, Bitcoin Planet, Antimatter.
And then on Liqui, they listed Co-Foundit and that SONM, the supercomputer organized by network mining.
SONM. We just added Liqui. This is the first time we've done Liqui.
I think I started last week.
Nice. Excellent choice.
Thanks.
Sweet. All right. Interesting list of listings this week. Listings are hot this week. It's all ETH assets as usual, but Co-Foundit looking interesting. Numerai was crazy. Bancor, like that was the huge ICO or whatever.
Yep.
Crazy.
We're gonna round it off with our coin birthday segment. Love to pay respect to coins that have made it around the sun. And the one that we're going to say happy 2-year birthday to today is RateCoin.
RateCoin, XRA. Nice. Still around, huh? Still kicking?
Yep.
What's the birthday? Was it a 2-year?
2-year birthday.
2
Started
year.
on 6/20/2015. It's sitting right now at market cap of about 37 Bitcoins.
I'll be damned. Well, a very, very happy birthday to the crew over at RateCoin. Congratulations.
And it's sad that it has to come to an end, but that is going to do it for the Blockchain Dynamics show tonight.
That's going to do it. Another week here at Error by Trial Studios. I want to thank everybody for listening. A huge shout out, of course, to www.cryptopia.co.nz. If you have not gotten yourself a Cryptopia account yet, I strongly recommend it. They've got a really unique set of coins, interesting projects, some interesting older coins trading there as well. Just a lot going down. Fun times at Cryptopia.
Yep. Head over to those forums. Say hi. Nobody won the trivia tonight. We'll be rolling over those dot.
All right, so the trivia question, it was how much Bitcoin did the Archcoin ICO raise? The answer was 957 Bitcoin. That's crazy. That's huge ICO for back then.
Yep.
300 was a big ICO back when Archcoin came out. I didn't remember it being that big, but I found it there in Bitcoin Talk.
That's going to do it for Blockchain Dynamics number 68. Check us out, blockchaindynamics.net. This is Error by Trial Radio. We'll see you next week with heavier bags.
Currency.
Like a couple Bitcoins.
Money,
Pull up on my Nakamoto.